just while and we are back to the topic. The Southeast sits at home protest over President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to Imo State. Remember that we have started this discussion by 7:30, and we were talking to Dr. Law Mefo, where he said he does not support the Ghost Mondays or the sit at home that happened today over President Muhammadu Buhari's visit. And before we let him go, he was trying to tell us reasons why he did not support it and giving better strategies of better ways that the IPOB can actually get their point across to the federal government. Dr. Mefo?
Augusta, if you allow me to ask Dr. Mefo this question, because I will assume that the tilt of this topic is not so much about IPOB's Monday sit at home, but this particular visit by President Buhari to visit Imo State, and then IPOB said people should stay at home in protest. And then it appeared that the entire Southeast generally heeded to their call, because we saw empty streets, people not coming out for the president as it's used to. So my question to Dr. Mefa will be, is this a particular statement by the Igbo in general, or is it just that people stayed at home out of fear? Or so is it directed at President Buhari himself as a protest, as a political statement?
I think it is all of the above. I think so. All the three factors you implicated are all at play. People stayed away out of fear. People stayed away to show solidarity in heeding the call to register the displeasure of Ndibo regarding their exclusion from the scheme of things at the center in Nigeria generally. I think it's part of it. I also think that the sit at home is directed to the president as a person, because the Igbos generally think the president has not treated them well. And yes, a lot of the marginalization of the Southeast is entrenched, is structural, constitutional, but it has never been this pronounced until President Muhammad Buhari came to power the second time. In far away United States of America, I think, he talked about 97% voters and 5% voters. He was certainly referring to the Igbos, the Southeast. By ensuring that the Igbos are not really carried along. So I think the sit at home was also directed at him. That is why I said it is all of the above. Yes, out of fear, because the Ghost Mondays has already carried out for 3 consecutive Mondays now. People have died. You know, nobody wants to die. And we also have a significant number of Igbos who would want to really show solidarity with and for Nnamdi Kanu because of what they perceived to be the unjust treatment he is receiving in the hands of the federal authorities. One, the way and manner he was brought back, and the way and manner the Southeast has been generally neglected and allowed to go through some kind of humiliation, if you must use that expression. So I think that we need to really see it from the 3 perspectives. And that said, we should also begin to weigh our options our how do I really put it? We need to begin to weigh, we need to tell ourselves the truth. We need to answer, can we really say that indeed the people have received their fair share in the Nigerian project? The answer is no. And the Biafra agitation, is it justified? For me, I think it is largely justified. Yes, it is justified because self-determination, whether we like it or not, is inherent in any human group. So if you have people as part and parcel of a union, and the union is not carrying them along, I sincerely believe that they have every right to begin to see if they can find some better way of taking care of themselves. If they cannot be within a polity and be happy and be progressing, they can seek to be alone, and the Biafrans are not the only ones asking to be left alone. Look all over the world. Scotland is still is about launching into a second referendum, despite producing a now as a prime minister.
So, Dr. Mefo, still sticking on that topic, my next question will be, does that mean that the seeming Igbo antipathy towards the ruling APC is not showing any sign of abating?
Come again, I didn't get that question well. Can you rephrase, please?
If you are saying that the general observance of the sit-at-home protests around the Southeast today is a political statement showing Igbo dislike for Buhari's administration, does that mean that the Igbo's seeming antipathy towards the ruling APC is not showing any sign of abating?
I don't think the problem the Igbos have is really with APC as a political party. The problem they have is the president, who they believe dislikes them. He may not dislike the Igbos, but these policies have not shown that he does not. If you see the moves being made in Anambra State, a lot of important people are joining the APC in Anambra State. So I don't think it's about APC as a political party. It's about the policy. It's about the way and manner the president of the country has really treated the ethnic group.
But if you use the Anambra, if you use the Anambra example, is it not just the political actors joining APC for their own political interests, and not that the masses of Anambra are embracing APC? Do you think so?
Well, that will be tested during the election. Even because you see, if you look at the dynamics of power, how votes are generated by political actors, you will see that the opinion leaders, the political leaders, the elites generally, the money bags, where they congregate will determine where votes will go. Because our electoral process is still monetized. There is much hunger in the land. So money will play a factor in Anambra election, whether we like it or not. So if you have major shifts to the APC, it means votes, whether we like it or not. It doesn't mean APC would win. I wouldn't know. The test of the pudding is in the eating. But I know that their fortunes in Anambra will certainly improve. And not to acknowledge this will be not being realistic, because politics, yes, it's a game of numbers, but is it the number congregate about and around the people who lead opinion, who lead the politics, those who control, who have people around them? This is the way it has always been. So I don't know if the trend continues. The more it continues in Anambra State, is the more the fortunes of the APC and its candidate would improve. Winning is a different thing
Dr.
altogether. Yes.
Okay, Dr. Mefo, you've just said that this statement, this sit at home was a political statement for many a number to the government. Considering the rocky relationship between the federal government and the Southeast region, do you think it's a strategic move on the part of Southeastern people? Was it a good strategic move, rather, on the part of the Southeastern region?
To do what? To welcome the president?
No, to not welcome the president, considering they already have a rocky relationship. Do you think this move was good strategy or bad strategy?
The political leaders welcomed the president. The governors were there. Ohaneze were there. So the important Igbo leaders, a lot of them were there. It's the Igbo masses that refused to be perfect. So even you look at it from that perspective, we cannot say that the president's visit was boycotted by Igbo political leaders. That would not be correct. The whole governors were there. Ohaneze top leadership, led by Professor George Obiozo, was there. Important Igbo people were there. And but the masses refused to participate. They refused to receive the president. And it's not in their place to determine whether the president would come or would be received by the political leaders. The political leaders received the president. You can see it all over the video, news, and all that. But the masses were not there because they were supposed to be seen on the streets, adorning the streets, waving the flag, hailing the president. We want to see this, the students wave the Nigerian green, white, green, white, green flag. We want to see the market women hailing. We want to see the traders hailing. We want to see, the Igbos welcome their president. That didn't happen.
Okay. Remember that you can join the conversation simply by raising up your digital hand, and I will try to accommodate as much questions and comments as possible. So you're saying now that there's a disconnect between the people and their leadership.
I said that before. Before you went on a break to take on another interview, I made it very clear that what has happened in this boycott is a clear demonstration of the fact that the Southeast political leaders can no longer command the respect of the people they lead. It's as simple as that. You see, the most basic definition of leadership is influence. Influence, nothing else. Your ability to influence others to do certain things. Leadership is about moving two or more people from one point to another. If the people you are leading or that you should be moving from one point to another are no longer following you, you have actually lost legitimacy, to be honest. We may not see it, but I tell you, see, what is going on, whether it is fair, whether it is legitimate symbolic solidarity within Nnamdi Kanu and all that, whether we like it or not, the masses are sitting at home. That is the problem here. And the only way to bring them out is to regain their confidence. That's the truth. If you regain their confidence, you bring them out. If you ensure their security, you bring them out. If the federal government also shows, goodwill, really extend the olive branch, the hand of fellowship, and showing the Southeasterners that they are indeed part and parcel of Nigeria, why not? The sit-at-home will naturally fizzle away. But as long as our political leaders are not doing their job, insecurity is only escalating, ungoverned places are escalating, non-state actors are growing, and you want the people to risk their business, risk their lives on Mondays and come out. I don't see that happening. And
okay, so now that you've obviously said that there's a disconnect between these people and their leadership, how can the president win the loyalty or begin to or gain influence over the Igbo people again?
Well, you see, one symbolic gesture that the president can put in place is this: he has to really negotiate with the Biafra agitators. That's just the truth. You see, this is democracy. Democracy is about negotiation. It is about, jaw. It is about talking. You can't stop talking. Negotiation. You get the point. It's not just Nnamdi Kanu alone. You have over 30 Biafra agitation groups. IPOB alone is even two. One led by Nnamdi Kanu, one led by Barrister Emeke Siri. So you have credible Biafra agitation groups and leaders that the president can discuss with. Yes, he has to discuss not just with Biafra agitators, he has to also discuss with other separatist groups in the country, including the Sunday Igboho group seeking for Oduduwa Republic. It's necessary. You just have to. You see, the president has even demonstrated this willingness in that direction by encouraging what you call Operation Safe Corridor, which is a kind of negotiation with the Boko Haram terrorists. If the president has allowed terrorists to repent, get rehabilitated and reintegrated into the society, these are people killing and maiming. What stops him from negotiating with the Biafra agitators that don't bear arms? They don't bear arms. They are not violent. They are only asking for political inclusion. So it is much easier for the president to negotiate with Biafra agitators than even negotiate with the terrorists, as the case has been.
So what if the president now makes serious efforts that we can see in pursuing the agenda for an Igbo president?
Well,
is that enough?
Yeah, if I believe it will go a long way. Nigerian president of Southeast extraction, particularly, will go a very long way. Yeah, because one of the problems we have is that the Igbos believe that the war is not over for them. They believe that they have not been allowed, they have not been fully, reintegrated into the Nigerian polity. That's a fact. Nigerian president of Igbo extraction will cancel that feeling of alienation, that they are not part of Nigeria. It's a symbolic gesture. I believe that if the president promotes that agenda to have his successor as an Igbo man, it will go a very long way. One of the major reasons why you have
Biafra... But will it kill the agitation for Biafra? But will it stop the agitations for Biafra? Do you think it's going to stop the agitations for Biafra?
It will not stop it immediately. It depends on what the Nigerian president of Igbo extraction does. He has to renegotiate Nigeria. If he leaves the country the way it is, Biafra agitation will continue. If the Igbo president leaves Nigeria the way it is, I believe the agitation for Oduduwa Republic will continue. I believe that terrorism will even continue. But if he really, brings everybody to the table, renegotiates the country, make the country all inclusive so that people will feel that they have stake in this place, all these agitations will gradually fizzle away. You see, when Nnamdi Kanu was still accessible, I had discussions with him. And I was persuading him to join political process. Since he has people, he has number on his side. I said, look, join political process. He was saying that he wouldn't want political process because it would lead to nothing. He said that the process is tainted, that the electoral process is tainted, that it will not guarantee free and fair election. Fair enough. But again, I tell you, if you have the number, you can stop rigging. We saw it with Wike. Wike was able to stop rigging against himself and returned himself as governor twice. We saw it with Seriaka Dixon.
Okay.
He won twice.
Okay, we have a question from the comment session.
You said?
And it says, we have a question from the comment section, and it says, do you think the agitation in the Southeast may have aroused all the demands and actions for fiscal federalism in many parts of the South, or are these happening independently?
They are not. Biafra agitation, I like that question, but if the person asking has been following me, I have said that Biafra agitation is not one-off. It's not happening in isolation. Biafra agitation is not different from the agitation for creation of Oduduwa Republic. It's not different from the agitation of some people trying to create an independent caliphate up north. It's not different from Niger Delta agitation for even separation. As we speak now, Niger Delta wants independence. They want to form their own country. Even Middle Belt, they want to form their own country. So Biafra agitation is not different in any way. We need to see all these as responding to a federal system that has failed. Do you understand that? The struggle for Biafra agitation, for Oduduwa Republic, for all these other republics within Nigeria, they are all agitations for restoration of federalism in Nigeria. You need to restore federalism.
So you're saying that if the practice of true federalism, if the practice of federalism becomes better, all agitation is going to die a natural death?
It will. It will. You know why? If you go back to history, if you go back to First Republic, when you had 3 regions up to 1963, and then the fourth, joined. When you had 4 regions before the war, the nation's economy was thriving. The Southeast economy under peer review, World Bank, review of the Southeast economy showed that the Southeast economy, Eastern region, as it was then, not Southeast now. Southeast, Eastern region meant present-day Southeast plus South-South minus Delta and Edo, right? It was just the fastest growing economy in Africa, particularly, and to a large extent in the world. The Western region was growing phenomenally under the premiership of Obafemi Awolowo. Do you know that Western region established a color television before Ireland in Europe? And do you know that Sadwana of Sokoto, the premier of the northern region, was leading Africa in agriculture? So you see, it's about true federalism. Before the white man left Nigeria, before Britain left Nigeria, Britain had 3, consecutive constitutional conferences with Nigerian leaders, and they came to one conclusion: that the best and progressive way to organize Nigeria will be through a federal process, federalism. Now, when Britain left, we practiced federalism up until 1966 to 1967, before military fully established itself. And since then, from then till now, what we have is a unitary system of government. That is what this whole thing is all about. The states cannot organize themselves economically. Yes, some people have argued that the states are not deploying the resources they have properly and all that. Give them the power. All the powers that were enjoyed by the regions then, even if you don't want to return to regionalism, those powers enjoyed by the region must be transferred to states. That is what I mean by restoration of federalism. I don't even like this talk about what you call a restructuring. The real word is not restructuring, it's restoration of federalism. Because we have practiced federalism before. We have to return to the true practice of federalism. We need state police. We need people to control their resources. That is why I'm in love with Wike. Look at what he was able to achieve through the judiciary. by getting VAT off at the table of the federal government. We need to do more, but the federal government needs to hands off. Federal government is holding on to about 68 clauses in the Constitution, leaving only 16 to the states. That is not federalism. That is unitary system. You need to reverse it. In fact, the states should control 68 items and the federal government, only 16. Federal government does not need to get into so many things. They don't need to get into agriculture, for example. Federal government has no business in agriculture. You have Federal Ministry of Agriculture, yet you don't own a land anywhere. Federal government doesn't own any land. So what is the justification for the federal government to run a Federal Ministry of Agriculture? And there are several other ministries like that. For example, should the federal government be in charge of roads? There are things federal government must hands off. Or even if they do so, they should do so concurrently. But they must allow the states enough ambience to be able to express themselves. The states need to explore the solid minerals in their place. Do you know Nigeria is rich in gold? Nigeria is rich in uranium. Nigeria is rich in magnesium. Nigeria has well over 30 seriously demanded solid minerals, but federal government is sitting on all that. While sitting on it, people are mining our gold illegally. Do you know the foundation of the banditry in Zamfara and Kebbi and so on and so forth? It has its roots in gold and so on and so forth. Because the federal government is sitting on it. So, the solid mineral is on exclusive list. Just like the police is on exclusive list. Insecurity in Nigeria is because the states are not allowed to take care of their own security. Insecurity, if you want to get security right in Nigeria, you start with creation of the state police. Every form of security is local. If you go to the southeast of Nigeria, all the police commissioners in the southeast, none of them is an Igbo man. All the directors of SSS, none of them is an Igbo man. All the directors of civil defense.
All right, I'll have to ask you to please round up now because our time is fast spent.
Good. Let me tie up here. What I'm saying is, you don't politicize security. You don't politicize national security. That's what has happened to Nigeria. You don't have to. You need to allow people their God-given right to exist as a people. If they don't want restoration of federalism in Nigeria, well, they should brace up for more agitation. It will not end. Why should it end? If they don't want the people to feel free in their own home, then agitation for freedom will continue. Do you know the reason? You see why Biafra agitation will never go away? By the very nature of the Igbo man. The Igbo man cannot live in servitude. Other ethnic groups may live in slavery, but the Igbos, by their culture, by their very nature, cannot live in servitude. They can't live in slavery. The Igbos cannot afford not to be free. So if you allow Nigeria to be the way it is, the youths will continue to fight. It has gotten to the point that they are ready to die even. You see, if you have a problem with somebody and the person is ready to die, my sister, brace up. The worst is yet to come.
Thank you so much. That's as much as we can take on today's exclusive interview. We have been discussing the Southeast sit-at-home protest over President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to Imo State. And we have been discussing with Dr. Lo Mefo. He has told us that he's not in support of the sit-at-home policy and that the IPOB can do better to come up with more strategies to make their point, to pass their point across to the federal government. He has also said that it is the failure of leadership, and that is why the agitations of Biafra will continue. Thank you so much, Dr. Lomefo.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for
remember
hosting
to
me.
also follow